Now for number 14, we can see from the answer choices that they're once again asking us to worry about punctuation and thus sentence structure, right? We need to make sure we're doing this. We're constantly trying to use the answer choices to predict the question. Otherwise, I would just be reading this and kind of seeing what sounds best, and that is not a good strategy. I sometimes need to do that when they're testing the style of the sentences, but this time they're testing grammar. This is what tells me that. There's a semicolon here versus a comma. This is all about sentence structure. So when we read this, let's make sure we pay attention to where sentences start and end. Luckily, the tower survived. That right there is a sentence. The luckily part is kind of extra, but that's a sentence. And its tilt has made it an Italian icon. That's also a sentence. Now, we're attaching the two sentences in an okay way. We're using the word and, which is a conjunction. And you don't need to memorize these words, but you got to call them something. Basically, what's happening is a conjunction is a special kind of word that allows us to join two sentences together with just a comma. So that is okay. That part is fine. Let's keep going. It attracts visitors from all over who flock to Pisa to see one of the greatest architectural weirdnesses in the world. That long piece is also a sentence. So this is three sentences combined together. The problem as it is right now is that unlike the first two sentences, the green and the blue and the orange are attached with only a comma and nothing more. We could use another conjunction and would be a perfectly valid one. It'd be a little wordy to do that, but it would be fine. But to just use a comma alone is not okay. Now, one thing we could do is replace the comma with a semicolon, because a semicolon is basically just a period. But we don't have that option. The semicolon option here also gets rid of the word it. And that might not seem like a big deal, but that word it is doing a lot of work here. It's what makes the orange piece its own sentence. Otherwise, it's just kind of this weird, like, fragment. Let's read it. Attracting visitors from all over who flock to Pisa to see one of the greatest architectural weirdnesses in the world. Well, it's kind of building towards something, but it never actually has an action. So the it attracts is the sentence. It is the subject, attracts is the verb. Once we get rid of the it, we've lost the subject. And once we turn attracts into attracting, we've lost the verbiness of it. It's no longer like a real concrete action. It's more just now like a description. And so that gets to our solution here. So A is a run-on. D is a fragment after the semicolon, so opposite problems. We've overcorrected. And basically, if we're going to go this ing route, which it seems we're forced to do with B and C, we're better off just making it a fragment. And we can attach this little piece of a sentence with just a comment. That's okay, because a fragment is just a little add-on, and so we use commas to add those things on. That's more about what commas actually do. And so in this case, what we're really doing is we're turning that orange sentence into a description of the blue sentence, the Italian icon. So it's giving us more information about the Italian icon, but it's not something that can stand alone. It's an extra little piece that we've tacked on, and we used a comma to do that. This is complicated, but notice this whole way of talking and thinking is about grammar. It's about structure. It's very formulaic. That's why from the start, if we can recognize that that's what they're testing, we can put our brain in that mode and not really worry about what sounds right and actually do the hard work of using the grammar rules. It's important to get your brain trained to think that way. Sometimes we do rules, sometimes we do just what sounds best. And figuring that out is the SAT writing in a nutshell.